And I am live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another review for Marvel's What If, Episode 7. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to the channel and if you love the MCU, I talk about What If every single week on this channel. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for more content like that. So today, guys, we'll talk about Marvel's What If Episode 7, break down what happened, give my thoughts overall, quick overall thoughts. Don't want to go in depth with this episode because there really isn't much to dive into, but I'm excited to regardless. So, Episode 7 of What If was what if Thor was the only child? Like, he was only given birth without Loki. Loki's not his brother. Instead, Loki was brought back to the Frost Giants by Odin. So Thor's the only child. So that's what this episode is. And it's a pretty fun one. I had a fun time watching this episode all around. It wasn't like emotionally dark or anything like that. It was just a really fun time all around. So let's talk about the episode overall. What if Thor was the only child? And Thor, voiced again by Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth is always great as Thor. He's just like absolute perfect casting. I can't see anybody else playing the role but Chris Hemsworth. So it basically shows Thor partying on Midgard. And so Odin banishes him to Earth to learn how to be a better man and a better king. But this time around, he's partying on Earth pretty much. And we see him in Vegas with all of his friends. And then he meets, of course, Jane Foster, who discovers what Thor is doing. And we see Darcy once again, and we see Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings reprising their roles. And so, yeah, Thor's partying on Earth, but it's pretty much not where he's supposed to be. And so we see S.H.I.E.L.D. get involved, and we see Frigga get involved in this episode as well. So it's pretty much Thor being selfish and immature, just like he was in the first movie. But in that movie, he learned and matured and became a king. And in this one, he's pretty much immature the whole entire episode, partying around the world on Midgard, not caring at all about what is going on. But I thought it was cool seeing Jane Foster and Darcy again, and hearing Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings in their roles, but mainly seeing some surprises that I didn't see coming, like Maria Hill having an involvement in this episode. Pretty much, Maria Hill confronts Jane Foster about Thor's actions, and so she sends Captain Marvel to confront him and stop his partying. And it was pretty cool. We'll talk about that in a second. But I always think Maria Hill is an underrated MCU protagonist that people don't talk about enough. And yeah, it was very cool to see her in the episode. But another big surprise was seeing Loki this time not being his human self, but he's actually a frost giant. But he looked more like an avatar. He looked more like the Navi in Avatar for sure. He was really tall, and it was just very weird seeing that. Yeah, Loki pretty much looking like an avatar in the Navi, just looking really tall, and we see him having his brotherly interactions with Thor. And he had his little funny moments in there, and we see other MCU characters sprinkled in there, like the Grandmaster, Jeff Goldblum. We see Korg in there. We see some of the Guardians like Nebula, Drax, all partying on Midgard. But of course, the another prime character that was in this episode was Captain Marvel, and it wasn't Brie Larson voicing her, but Captain Marvel's there to stop Thor from partying. And of course, Thor doesn't listen, so they start to fight each other. Captain Marvel's pretty much whooping his ass like 90% of the fight. And Thor has his jabs in there, and we see them fighting, you know, Thor using the hammer and Captain Marvel using her powers as well. And is some cool moments in those fight sequences, especially this one right here when Thor's striking her down with his lightning. It's not working, but she's just basically absorbing that lightning power. So that just shows how powerful Captain Marvel is. She's by far one of the more powerful characters in the MCU. But it's pretty much an all episode for Thor to pretty much learn more about himself and mature. And it's pretty much like the first Thor. Thor is selfish, he's arrogant, and he doesn't have the qualities to be king. And it's the same here. But it's pretty much nothing, no risks were taken in this episode. And it's nothing like episode 4 with Doctor Strange, losing the love of his life and the consequences of the decisions he made in that episode. That was by far the darkest episode I've seen of the show so far. But it was fun. There was a lot of cool fight sequences, like with Captain Marvel and Thor, and some really funny moments. But I really like the ending of this episode, pretty much. Frigga is checking up on Thor. Thor saying he's studying with his friends, and she comes down to Earth. And so Thor is pretty much making this announcement that his mother's coming to Earth. So we need to pretend like I'm actually studying. And then Frigga comes down to Earth, and just in time, they pulled it off. Thor is reading like in a classroom setting, and we see, of course, Captain Marvel show up just to make it look obvious. So it was a pretty cool ending, and then we see Thor ask Jane out on a date, and the Watcher pretty much ends the episode off saying, and they lived happily ever after, but he said, oh wait, never mind. And so the final shots of this episode is going to lead up to the next episode. I think this is the next episode here with Ultron's return. And so, yeah, Ultron, just that whole entire ending shot right there. Ultron is in Vision's form. Yeah, we see Ultron kind of wearing the Infinity Stones on his chest. And then we see Vision's face pop out, and it's a cliffhanger. And so that's pretty much leading what's going to be the next episode, Vision Ultron. So I think the next episode will be Vision Ultron, and then the last episode of season 1 will be Gamora wearing the Thanos armor. So that seems like where it's going for sure. So I thought that was a cool cliffhanger. I usually hate when they end these episodes, especially the good ones that have good endings. I'm like, I gotta wait a week now. Shit. But yeah, overall thoughts, guys. Don't have really crazy in-depth thoughts on this episode, but I just had a fun time with it. It's not one of my top tier favorite what if episodes, but it was great to see Chris Hemsworth voicing Thor again. And having that fun Thor-isms, like him being selfish, having his really funny lines. Chris Hemsworth always brings the humor. Seeing Captain Marvel in there fighting Thor, and that ending shot with Vision Ultron just gets me excited to see what next week's episode is going to be with that. Could be one of the best episodes. But yeah, guys, that was my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you weren't here in the chat, that's totally fine. Let me know your thoughts on this episode in the comment section. Did you love it? Think it was okay, or did you hate it? Let's discuss it in the comments below. Look forward to my episode 8 review next week. I will be back here giving my thoughts. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. It would be very much appreciated. And guys, all my social media links are in the description below as always. You guys have a great week, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.